This program is brought to you by LegendaryStrength.com. The content found here is for informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. It is recommended you talk to your qualified health professional before making any changes to your exercise plan, diet, or prescription medication use. Legendary Strength is not responsible for any claims made during this program.
Hey, welcome back to the Legendary Strength podcast. This is the first one I've done in a while, but it's about to become a regular thing once again. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm excited about the new changes, new direction, which we're going to be covering in this podcast. So, if you haven't noticed already or didn't hear about it, I have decided to combine my two big main websites, Lost Art of Hand Balancing and LegendaryStrength.com. And specifically, by combining them, I am rolling in everything that was at Lost Art of Hand Balancing into LegendaryStrength.com and just making that my one and only main home base. The reason I've decided to do this, which is actually something I've been thinking about doing for years, for a long time I was telling people if I was starting over I'd just have one main site, but I didn't do it earlier simply because I was worried about that if I did this it would somehow dilute my message or it wouldn't be as targeted to the different things. For whatever reason, it just came down to the point where I want to be able to focus on one main site and really deliver all of my training information at that one single place. As someone said when I asked for feedback on this idea, that he really just saw the two different websites as the same thing, just different places to go look for the information. But really, my training and what I do, there's so much with body weight and really all the handstand acrobatic stuff. It's just really is an extension of everything I covered at Legendary Strength. There are times when I'd have a article, about training the levers or training flags, something like that, and it'd be a coin flip between which site do I post this on, because it really did fit in both. So now with the combination with everything that was at lostartofhandbalancing.com is available at legendarystrength.com. And this is actually going to be a great thing for the future because it's going to allow me to focus on one thing and deliver even better information just in one main site. So let's actually talk about what exactly I'm planning on doing. When I came up with this idea for the main site at Legendary Strength, I wanted to make some changes to it. And if you go to legendarystrength.com right now, you'll see it doesn't look entirely different than it did before, but there are some changes to how it was before. One of the main things I've done is I've split up the content that I deliver into 5 main topics, because these are really the 5 areas that I focus on. There is Bodyweight Mastery, Kettlebell Mastery, Strongman Mastery, Mental Mastery, and Health Mastery. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you realize that these are really the areas of expertise, the areas that I really delve into, some more than others. Obviously, all the handstand and acrobatic stuff is going to go into the bodyweight mastery category, but that also includes working on the gymnastic feats like the levers and flags I mentioned before, doing stuff like rock climbing, which I've been doing recently, as well as just the more basic stuff, if you think along the lines of my advanced bodyweight training course, doing the handstand pushups against the wall just as a strength building exercises, pull-ups, still working towards the one-arm chin, all sorts of these things, that bodyweight mastery, working on developing insane, crazy bodyweight strength. Now the thing is, I'm not a bodyweight only guy. There are plenty of people out there that claim that bodyweight is the only way you should go. It reminds me of a story that Bud Jeffries told at our last workshop. I believe he was talking about it. His son it was some sort of challenger thing that he was up against this martial art master guy who only did bodyweight exercises. And what ended up happening is Bud's son, Noah, who was 15 at the time of this story, I believe, ends up just throwing around the guy like a rag doll. Because while the guy had great bodyweight strength and was able to handle it in so many ways, which is very important, he wasn't able to handle other people or other objects, which is what working with other people or other objects allows you to do. So while I do a whole lot with bodyweight, and I think you can get great fitness doing that, I think if you want a more complete package, and definitely if you want to be an all-around strongman, you gotta work with other exercises, other training tools as well. One of the big things I use for that is kettlebells. So I have a whole section devoted to Kettlebell Mastery. recently I've been doing a whole bunch of the juggling and working on my own, basically a certification process where people demonstrate the skills and can work up to being a master of kettlebell juggling. And it's not easy to get there. I really wanted this to be as the equivalent in difficulty as achieving a master of sport in the kettlebell exercises, the standard ones that are done in gear voice sport, the snatch and the jerk. I'll also be covering more on that in the future because I think after I do this juggling for a while, just to switch it up, I'm going to pursue the snatch done in that one hand switch style and see how far I can go with that. I've thought about doing this in the past. Now I'm thinking I'm really going to go for it. Now I'm just specifically only going to work on the snatch, and why not the jerk? The jerk is a great exercise. Perhaps I'll do the one arm version, but it's just not comfortable at all, that two arm version. If you've ever done this before, you know you need to, in order to be able to do this, get a real good rack position where you can rest your body. And part of that is getting the elbows down to the hips. Well, I'm just about like 1 inch away from making that a comfortable position. I don't want to work on it because the truth is, in order to get really good at that, I'd have to deform my body to the point where my spine is more rounded so I could get in a comfortable position there. That's not something I want to do, at least not at this time. But the Kettlebell Mastery is not going to just be talking about juggling, though that will be a big part of it because I think that's a really great way to demonstrate mastery of a kettlebell when you can flip and catch it and do all that. Great way to do it, but all the other ways you can master kettlebells as well and using them even once again for just basic strength training purposes. So that's that whole category. Then we get into the Strongman Mastery category. Now what's this about? Strongman, in some ways for me this is going to be the catch-all category. So if I'm talking about using cables, using barbells, dumbbells, that stuff's going to be in there. Basic powerlifting stuff, the extent to which I do it, which is the deadlift. Really, I don't spend any time bench pressing, and sometimes I do squats, but that Olympic lifting could go in here. Really, this is going to be more, for what I do, a lot of the old time strongman stuff, which I've covered a whole bunch on the site, and doing the feats of strength, the professional strongman type deal, as well as odd object lifting, partials. All that's going to fit in the Strongman Mastery category. And really, I think you can get great phenomenal fitness if you work in these three areas, doing a lot of body weight exercises, working with kettlebells. I mean, really, when I say working with kettlebells, at this point, kettlebells, the best way to use them is the ballistic exercises, swings, snatches, jerks, and of course the kettlebell juggling, extension of all those things. Including that in there, then the strongman stuff from doing feats of strength, hand strength, grip strength, as well as some heavy lifting. Also some partials or isometrics can be included in there. This will really give you a well-rounded approach. So that's what I aim to be covering at Legendary Strength, and that's actually what I've covered in the past. This is just a new way of categorizing it. Now, on top of that, we have the mental mastery. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know this is something I've been studying and working on a lot in the past couple of years and just slowly unveiling more. Truth is, I have a whole bunch of stuff that most people haven't even seen. Just at the recent Wizards of Strength workshop, I taught literally the best and greatest exercises I've come up with for using, and people were instantly doubling their strength or making exercise easier. It was phenomenal. We'll be covering that stuff in a short amount of time, and actually those Wizards of Strength DVDs will be released pretty soon too. So this area, the mental mastery, is something I'm going to continually get into and really start showing people more of what I'm actually doing, because most people don't know what is possible here. The results are phenomenal when you do these exercises right. And lastly, but not least, we have the health mastery. With Legendary Strength, it's never just been about, attaining great strength while sacrificing the body. I really put health first, and if not first, sometimes maybe I stretch the boundaries a little bit, juggling a flaming kettlebell. I did everything I could to make sure that was safe and everything, but is that necessarily healthy? It was just something fun to do. But I'm not about sacrificing health in order to get results in strength like some people are. That's their decision, and that's fine if they want to go that way. Me, I want to live a long time. I want to be healthy the entire time. I want to be pain-free and injury-free and all that. So the health mastery is about nutrition. It's about doing different things, like I've written in my book, 101 Simple Steps to Radiant Health. Really how to attain the best health ever. Because the way I see it, when you have the best health ever, you're going to recover better, you're not going to get sick or ill or have injuries, and you're going to be able to train harder. So you actually get greater results in what you're going for through doing these practices. So once again, something I've been studying a lot over the past couple of years, and something I'll start talking about even more, some advanced stuff that I've learned there and what I personally do in that. So these are the 5 main categories that I'll be covering in Legendary Strength. It's really not a big change from what I've done in the past. Once again, it's just this is how it is going to be set up. And so with that, in the content that I produce and unleash there, I'll be rotating through these. It's not necessarily going to be one, then the next, then the next. Will depend on what I'm doing, but I'll be hitting on all 5 of these different areas over time. So as far as actually delivering this content, as you're listening to this right now, my podcast is back. I started this a little while ago, didn't really get on a set schedule, then let other projects get in the way. Well, now I plan on doing a weekly podcast. And on this podcast, we'll be talking about these different 5 categories. I'll also be bringing on guests. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Right now I'm thinking somewhere around half an hour on each podcast should be roughly what I'm shooting for, but sometimes it'll go longer, sometimes shorter, but it should be a lot of fun, and it'll give me a way to really deliver a lot of great information your way. Even in this, just talking about the new website and direction, you get an idea of how I frame my workouts and the things I find important in training. So on that note, if you happen to be in this field like me and you think you'd be a great person to be interviewed for whatever reason, then just send me an email at logan@legendarystrength.com. Maybe a while, depending on how many people do this and things I have planned for the future. But if you're open to that, then that may work out. So be sure to email me and we'll schedule you as a guest. So the podcast, I'm looking to release that every single week on Monday. Of course, you'll be able to just get this automatically downloaded to your iPhone or whatever you have through iTunes, or it'll be available on the site. You can download it as an MP3, and it's always going to be free, so it's a great way for me to deliver to you. Now, of course, audio isn't the best way to teach exercises or to show you everything. So what I'm also going to be doing is every Friday I'll be having a bigger video or an article, usually some combination of both, that will go into, once again, one of these 5 categories in detail on something that I'd like to teach you for today. And so that will be usually on Fridays. On Wednesdays, I'm thinking of just pulling a video off YouTube, someone showing something amazing, either bodyweight skills, kettlebell skills, strongman skills, and then writing a little detail on that so you get some inspiration for things you want to do. So that is my plan for now. Is it always going to be like this? Probably not, but having just this one site to focus on, really my own site to focus on, I do got a whole bunch else going on, but with this I should be able to deliver this in a timely and regular manner, so you'll be able to enjoy it all and know what day it is based on what I'm releasing. So podcast on Mondays, inspirational video on Wednesdays, and then a bigger video and or article from me on Fridays. That is the plan right now. So with the new legendarystrength.com, something else I've decided to do just so I can deliver the information for you better, for the most part how I deliver things is through email. Likely you're listening to this because you got an email from me and told you to go download it. So with Legendary Strength, I've actually changed my email service provider. Now I don't want to get into all the details of this, simply because that's not what this is about. But in order to continue to get my emails, you're going to have to sign up once again, if you've already done it in the past, but on legendarystrength.com in order to get that, because I've changed it. There's no way just to import and export because they want to be safe with all the spam stuff and everything. So if you want to continue getting my emails, and I highly suggest you do, if you want to learn about all this stuff, mastering your body weight, kettlebells, strongman stuff, mental mastery, health mastery, you want to get the podcast, all that stuff, be sure to go to legendarystrength.com and sign up with your email, whatever is the best email for you. Now, what I'm giving away at here, there's a good chance you have some or maybe even all of these, but instead of just giving away one thing, because I'm covering so many different things on the website, I'm really giving away something for the most part, that covers each of these different categories. I'm giving away 5 of my free reports. The Peak Performance Trinity, which really covers everything. It is sort of a framework that I have talking about the physical training, the mental training, and the health and nutrition, bringing all those pieces together so that overall you're able to achieve better peak performance. I got stuff about the handstands, a report on how to get started with the handstand. This is a skill a lot of people want to do, but few people approach it right. I know I didn't when I got started, but if you have the right approach as the way I teach, then it becomes much easier to do. It's not such a, it doesn't take a year to gain the skill, but if you do it right, you can gain it a lot faster. I'm bringing back the Strongman Manifesto. This was like my original report I wrote a long time ago. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback, people saying like that was the thing that I really liked, so I decided to bring that back, even though some of that got rolled into my book, The Master Keys to Strength and Fitness. I'm still going to be offering that here. For the mental training side of things, we have the 10 biggest mistakes in mental training for strength and athletics. Mental training is a largely misunderstood field. Most people think only in terms of like mental toughness or visualization. That's really a tiny bit of it. Those are important, yes, but there's so much more available that you can use, and really things that will allow you to do like instantly doubling strength like the people did at the recent Wizards of Strength workshop. I also have the Get Grounded report. This is something I released quite a while ago. It's about, I want to say technology, though that's not really the right word that you can use, something freely available, touching the earth, that will instantly reduce inflammation, that allows you to recover better, decreases cortisol in most people, allows you to sleep better, especially the actual effects of this were more pronounced in women than in men. That report goes over a lot of the early research in this and how you can benefit to it in other ways than actually just going out and touching the earth, even though that's freely available, and a reason why I like to train outside in parks when I can and be barefoot. So this is a really cool thing. Most people are not even aware of this, but if you can add it in, it will instantly increase your health, but also speed up your recovery, so it's a great thing. So you get these 5 reports just for signing up. Once again, you may have some of them or all of them, but be sure to go sign up on the new legendarystrength.com so that you continue getting my emails in the future and you get access to all the great content I do and everything else. So along with this, something that has recently occurred is that together with Bud Jeffries over at strongerman.com, we've signed up a number of new partners. These are some of the strongest men in the world, for the most part, in their different areas, and they're going to be bringing you books and DVDs. We've also set them up with all of their individual websites. So I want to be sure to mention this to you so you can go and check them all out. One of which is Steve Justa. Now, if you've been training for a while and are interested in odd objects or being strong, then it's likely you've heard of Steve Justa. He's famous for writing his classic book, Rock Iron Steel, which I believe is still available at ironmind.com. Bud happened to be able to meet Steve Justa while he was on his Strongman tour last year. Steve lives in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska in a town that probably has less than 100 people. It's quite a fascinating story itself. If you ever meet Bud, ask him about it. It is actually a really hilarious story. But anyway, we've partnered up with Steve Justa. He wrote a new book that really wasn't published by anyone. Anyway, we got access to that, and now we've published it in a new format. Great book. There's some real gems there as far as being able to attain super strength, and we're looking forward to bringing you even more information from Steve Justa in the future, because the stuff he's done with isometrics lately is unlike what anyone else in the world has done. I got to talk to him a little bit over the phone the other day, and I'm fascinated to see what he's going to be releasing. So Steve Justa, you can find him at stevejusta.com. Next up, we have Chuck Halbacken. Now, Chuck, if you don't know, he was one of our co-presenters at the Wizards of Strength workshop. He set a new world record in card tearing cards vertically. He's a master at doing that, also a master of mobility. We actually, together with me, he shot a 4 DVD set on mobility, really how to build that foundational mobility, which will, one, it can help get you out of pain, it can help you to move better, but it gives you really the foundation of movement you need in order to pick up any new skill quickly. So I highly recommend you suggest that out, and you can find them at chuckhalbacken.com. And Halbacken is spelled Halbakken, in case you're wondering, not the easiest name in the world. Another person on our lineup is Donnie Thompson. Now, if you're into powerlifting at all, you've likely heard of Donnie Thompson because he is the probably greatest powerlifter in the world. He broke 3,000 pounds total in the 3 power lifts. Obviously, very, 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 very strong guy. So yeah, be on the lookout for great information. If you want to get strong with the powerlifts, if you plan on competing, Donnie Thompson is your guy. You can find him at DonnieThompsonPower.com. Next up, we have Drew Patrick. Good chance you haven't heard of Drew Patrick before. He's also competed in powerlifting. He is probably one of the strongest dumbbell pressers in the world. This guy is just massive. Recently just went and won in the bench pressing IPL, I believe it was, World Championship. A very strong guy. He's at drewpatrick.com. That's D-R-U Patrick.com. We also have Whit Baskin. Whit was a strongman competitor. Even though he was a strong guy, he broke a world record in the car hold that actually still stands to this day. But Whit was unfortunately got in a really bad car accident in which he barely survived, and it was honestly years of rehab to bring him back, and he's starting to get back into the swing of things as far as fitness and everything, and he actually has plans to, in the near future, I think it may be sometime in December, to break his previous world record in the car hold. You can find him at whitthegiantkillerbaskin.com. So as you can see, we have some of the strongest people in the world in their different areas. Next up, we have Scott Weech. Scott Weech is another powerlifter and strongman athlete. He competes in both different things. He has world records in, I believe, the world records in raw powerlifting. He's also done something crazy with the axle. It was like a 440, I could be completely wrong on this, 440 pound axle deadlift, so that's a thick bar, and maybe it was an overhead press. I'm forgetting my details on this, but really strong guy. You should definitely check him out. Is at scottweech.com. Weech is spelled W-E-E-C-H. We also have Eric Gutman. If you've been following Bud for a while, you know he was actually our first newly published author. Now, Eric himself isn't one of the strongest people in the world. He's definitely in really good shape. He's a U.S. naval officer, used to fly in the Air Force. He speaks multiple languages. He's also something of an expert in longevity, has his own company in producing some topical health treatments. Phenomenal guy, really cool guy. He's also written a couple books, Listen Up and Extreme Military Fitness. You can check him out at ericgutman.com. That's G-U-T-T-M-A-N-N, ericgutman.com. We also have James Henderson. Now, we haven't set up this guy's website yet, though I understand he has his own. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head, but James Henderson is the strongest bench presser in the world. I believe he holds the world record in that. Phenomenal strength athlete and strongman. So, as you can see, we've brought on board, and we have, likely there's going to be more people in the future in some different, even more wide-ranging fields. So we got guys in the powerlifting, competitive strongman, more of the not amateur, but the old-time strongman doing feats of strength like Chuck with his card tearing. All these guys, phenomenal athletes in their own right, and they're going to be releasing articles, videos, all that stuff's actually already available on those websites I mentioned, and with some books, DVDs, different courses coming out through there. So along with this, the vast majority of these guys, not Steve Justa, unfortunately, he's something of a hermit, but I think every other one of these guys will be at the upcoming Superhuman Training Workshop number 3, which is on January 4th through 6th, 2013, assuming the world doesn't end in December, in Tallahassee, Florida. So this is going to be basically like a strength mastermind. All these phenomenally strong guys. I mean, I'm going to feel so tiny being next to guys like Donnie Thompson, Drew Patrick, and Scott Weech, but it's going to be great to meet these guys and get to learn from them and how they do everything they do strength-wise. So I would highly recommend you get your butt over to this workshop. We're probably never going to have all these guys together again like we will have here, simply because logistically it's been kind of crazy. I know some of them won't even be there the whole day, but the whole full 3 day event it is, but can only make some of it. So in any case, you'll never really have a chance to learn hands-on from these people like you will at this event. Be covering a wide range of different topics, all in mastering your strength, becoming as strong as possible. So I highly recommend you get yourself over there. I myself am flying across the country in order to attend. I highly recommend you get there. And you can check out the full details that we have so far at superhumanworkshop.com. There's still a few spots available at the extremely low price. I think we're selling it for something like $297, and there's even payment plan available of that. This is the cheapest we've ever offered an event, even though it's our biggest and in many ways best event. With all these guys going, it's going to be awesome. Along those lines, we also have a brand new membership site. Not brand new, it's just been newly revamped, and that's the Superhuman Training member site. Right now it's mostly just me, Bud Jeffries, and Chuck Howbacken doing the coaching calls and uploading videos and everything. But in the future, every one of these guys is also going to be a contributor to that site. We're actually going to end up eventually having weekly training videos. Right now it's monthly, but the cool thing about this site though is we've greatly simplified it. We've also made that cheaper than ever before. It's less than $20 a month, and just when you sign up, you're getting something like $2,000 worth of products. Some of my best stuff, actually, I created 2 courses, acrobatic flexibility and acrobatic skills. Each were 2 DVD sets, and I hadn't released those yet. I decided to just upload those. They're freely available on the site. All you got to do is become a member, so I guess not quite free. But for $20 you get access to courses I was planning, and maybe I still will in the future, sell for $50 a piece. And that's just 2 out of many of the things available. There's a 14 DVD set, all available online, Bud's original Superhuman Training monthly series. In this, he covered really how to use like every training tool possible, and man, really gives you a huge foundation for his twisted or monster conditioning concepts. Once again, that's just one other thing. You have the entire, it's like 20-hour, actually I think it's closer to 30-hour, all the interviews we did in our Superhuman Training teleseminar series. There's just so much information in there, and it's available for $20. You can get access to that through legendarystrength.com. It's at superhumantraining.com/members is where the membership site is. So I highly recommend you check that out. So that's going to wrap it up. I think I've given a whole lot of wide-ranging details about what's going on. Just to recap a bit, Lost Art of Hand Balancing has been combined into legendarystrength.com. You can find everything available there. Soon you won't even be able to go to Lost Art of Hand Balancing. It's just automatically going to redirect to Legendary Strength. But every article, every post, every book that was available there, that's all on legendarystrength.com right now. And be sure to check out legendarystrength.com. That site got a facelift or an upgrade. There's a little more going on there. The main thing, it being separated out into 5 different categories: Bodyweight Mastery, Kettlebell Mastery, Strongman Mastery, Mental Mastery, and Health Mastery. And with that, I'll be delivering regular content through this podcast every single week, doing videos and articles as well. All that's available. Also, be sure to go to the site and sign up and grab the 5 reports to be sure you also receive my emails in the future, because I know you want access to all the great stuff that I do online, all the free videos and articles and everything, as well as you'll be the first one to know about any new courses I come out with. And then we have all those new partners, so be sure to look at everything coming from them in the future. The reason we've put this together, me and Bud Jeffries, and all the partners, is we really want to build like a web or group of really the strongest people in all their different respective fields, because we're kind of tired about all these people that, give health or give strength information that aren't that strong themselves, the armchair theoreticians, that guys that really can't do, yet we're bringing you the best guys in the world at what they do, the strongest people ever, basically. And there's no one world's strongest man, despite the name of the competition, but really strength comes in so many different flavors. We're bringing you guys that are the best at what they do in so many different ways and have so much experience in so many different things you can learn from. So depending on what you're going for, I'm not the guy to go to if you want to become a really great power lifter. Sure, ideas I can give you can certainly help, especially like the mental stuff. That applied to anything will make you much stronger when you do it properly. But if you want to actually learn technique or how to train for it, I'm not the guy to ask. Asking someone like Donnie Thompson or Scott Weech or Drew Patrick or Bud Jeffries, who also has a background in that. They're much better people. Yet, if you're looking for bodyweight training, I don't think Donnie Thompson's your guy. I'm a good person to come to. There are also other great people out there. So that's really what we're doing. So we're able to build up this whole ring of the greatest athletes in the world and cross promote between each other, and really also give these guys who don't have any idea how to build a website or anything a way to give themselves a voice so they can really spread that information out there. It's a pity that we have a guy like Donnie Thompson, strongest person in the world at powerlifting, over 3,000 pounds, yet he's not really able to teach because he didn't have that. Well, now with the website, he's going to be bringing all that, and you can really find out how he trains and all that information. So that is all coming, but really the way to kickstart this, and really the way to kickstart 2013, is to come to the Superhuman Training Workshop number 3, where you're going to get to meet all these guys, get to train with them, get to learn from them. It's an event quite unlike any other. All of our events, we really try to outdo the last one, and I think we really have succeeded. The Wizards of Strength Workshop exceeded everyone's expectations, and those were pretty high. So this event, it's going to just be doing the same thing. That's coming up fast, really about 5 or 6 weeks away at this time, so you want to be sure to go sign up at superhumanworkshop.com. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Once again, a whole lot more coming, where we'll be going into detail on body weights, kettlebells, strongman, mental health, all that, bringing in guests, all sorts of things. Be sure to go to legendarystrength.com, check out the new site, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know what you like, anything you'd like to see added to it. Comment on the site. All that is good. So this is Logan Christopher from legendarystrength.com, signing off.